I'm Gentleman Josh Hill.
I'm Aaron Jeffrey.
I'm Johnson Jazz Busiest.
I'm Mike Malott.
I'm Raffian Stock.
Tune into the
Don't Tap
podcast.
Don't tap
podcast.
John Jones.
Follow me on Twitter.
Hey, I'm UFC President Dana White, and you're in the ring with Callum McGregor.
To me, the Lions are the number one rankings out there. Those guys are the ones who really do their homework.
Man, that's why I'm saying the rankings are bullshit.
From Canada.
Got a really high fight IQ.
But this fight, I'm telling you, it's a flip of a coin.
Levels to the shit.
So many high-level guys.
So, like, the line is crazy.
Oh, there we go. Oh, no, we're good. See, he's a pro. Okay, welcome to a special edition of the Couch vs. the Coach. We are here with returning, I would say contestant, but today is not about competition because he probably whooped my ass anyways. We have Jaden, Dissection of Violence, back in the house. And honestly, man, it's got to be a pretty exciting time for you. You got Powell at Unified. You got Aaron out in Niagara. Niagara top team is probably buzzing right now. How is it at the gym? There we go. Let's go.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's really good. Training's been good. The vibes are high at the gym, of course. But yeah, it's also stressful because these are big fights for the guys. Powell, really, really big fight for him. He wins this fight, he could be looking towards a title shot. Just other things out there like AJ's fight, man. Like it's crazy how much is going into this. He works so hard, hardest worker I know. And man, it's just crazy, man. I'm just so happy for them. And
yeah, with AJ, I messaged him. It's like, if he finishes Edwards here, calls out Eblin, I think honestly, man, stylistically, he can give Eblin a problem. We've seen Eblin have points in his fights where everybody puts him on such a pedestal, and he is that level. It's really hard to see anybody knock him off. But AJ does present when he's on point and that level of fighter. He presents that style. That pressure is. He could beat almost anybody with that style of pressure. His elbows, his work on the cage, it's brilliant. I sent him a message. It's just like, if he can get through this, the money on the other side with the PFL is absolutely brilliant. And regardless, whatever, it's just he's in such a good spot right now. Very advantageous situation. My dog of the week this week, plus 115. Aaron Jeffrey,
plus 140 now.
Really, I'll even say. Well, I love when the line moves in my favor. Yeah. I love it. That's probably all that European, UK money and whatever else. So, yeah. All right, but let's dig into it. So what we're going to do this week is a little bit different. I'm a little bit ignorant when it comes to some of these lines, and that's why I'm going to defer to the pro. I know that you do train MMA. I know that you train Muay Thai. You're down at Niagara top team all the time, regularly. But where your specialty is really, as far as what we do here, is you dissect fights really well. You can really sniff out some of those regional shows. You find lines where there's so much value. And even if the UFC card doesn't quite play out the way you want, that Rodriguez loss doesn't really hurt you that much because you have everything else lined up. And that's it. So
no, that hurt me. Not gonna lie. That hurt me. That was rough. It wasn't like financially like that. Obviously, it would be nice to be profiting every card. I can't hit every card.
And that's what I mean. For you, it doesn't hurt you financially because you've set yourself up properly.
Yeah, exactly. But that did.
There's a lot of guys that are screaming bloody murder on that decision, and it's like they're really upset about it. And I get it one way or the other, but it's like Rodriguez is traditionally in close fights, right? Yeah. And it's like, I know that you had already set yourself up, and the whole point of that was you have multiple cards going on, and that's what we're going to look at this week. We're going to look at the Bellator card. We're going to look at LFA, maybe even sprinkle in a little bit of Oktagon. I know that you've done some tape on that as well too. So I think that's where there's a lot of value throughout the week. A lot of people want to know the big names and go with the UFC picks and get married to those picks, but though there's a lot of money on the table that I think that you dig into a lot every week, and I've noticed it's pretty awesome. So let's take a look at it. Your first. Where are we going to go? What organization?
I'd like to go Oktagon probably to start, just because it's fresh on my mind. I just finished tape.
Now, for those that don't know Oktagon, it's based out of Germany, correct?
I believe so. I'm still getting used to ACA, Oktagon, and KSW, so I'm going to be a little ignorant as far as where they're located, but I do know that they are I think it's Germany based promotion, but because I remember a teammate, Stephen McDonald, went down to Germany, so I'm pretty sure this is where they're based out of. But
yep,
honestly, this promotion is so cool how they have their shows done, like 20,000 people Like it's insane how much they can put into their shows, and like it's not like the UFC where they only show up for the main. They show up for every fight, and they're like it's a packed house. Like it's crazy.
All right. So, what is your first pick for Oktagon? What did you see in tape that made most sense for you, where you found some exposure?
So the first spot that I saw, honestly, was Sebastian Herzberg. This is just ridiculous in my opinion. Like the guy's 12-12. I get it, it's experience, but Ruben is just like what did I write down? I wrote down something special for Ruben.
Take your time, man. It's okay.
Ruben, he plods forward and he tries to do some stuff on the feet, but he's like okay. There's a phrase out there that people like to use. It's called a bag of milk, and he's just kind of fight. He's just a bag of milk, and he has some offense. Don't get me wrong. Like he'll throw some things, but once he gets tagged, he does not deal with that well. And honestly, that's not really what I worry here. Like the striking at all. I don't worry about the striking. What I worry about with this fight is, can we get him down early? And if so, this could be an easy night. And if not, we can, get him down later. And because he doesn't have good cardio, Ruben has about a round in him, if that. So yeah, man, like I don't understand this line at all. It's kind of ridiculously out of pick'ems. I get it. Sebastian has been dropped in a few fights, or maybe it's just the fight I watched.
Is it just one guy's 4-0, one guy's had 24 fights?
Yeah,
but he's split down the middle at 50-50. He's won 12 and lost 12. And like you said, I did watch a little bit of stuff when I was trying to look for Josh. He is a little bit of a bag of milk.
Yeah, it's not much I can say about him that's positive, other than like he stays in there and he's somewhat tough, and like he's not gonna like die right away. But like he could. I don't think Sebastian's the guy that's gonna put him out because his striking's still a work in progress. But I think Sebastian, what he's going to do well here is grapple very well. And if you can get him to the ground at all, it's over. So, yeah, that's all I got to really say about that. It should be like negative 300 Herzberg, but instead it's negative 110. Like, honestly, it's just a steal.
He's like Brovada minus 105, 110 at Betway, minus 120 at Bet Online. I like that money line play.
It's just a solid play, I wouldn't, go crazy. This promotion's very reckless. I don't like betting big on promotions that, have a lot of roids, and, it is what it is. But he doesn't. Herzberg, if he is on the roids, he's like Rob Wilkinson. You don't notice it.
But for you gamblers, it's one of those bets where it's small unit size. You go nice and measure it properly, but at the same time, then if it hits, then you have that ticket. Then you'd be like, I know this guy dissection, and that's what everybody wants to do. They want to be able to say that they knew the sniff, or they knew the guy that knew the angle. Sharp money line play. I like that. So we got our first play for Oktagon with Sebastian Herzberg, minus 105 to minus 120, 3 different books. What's your next play, bro?
My next play. Okay, so we're going to move this over to Bellator. Bellator is honestly just a great card this week. If they did props, this would be really easy for this fight because I honestly – but honestly, they took the props away after they saw the market, take – like they took advantage of of them giving us pretty much free money. It's either he submits – the Indian man or he TKOs him, and a lot of people are thinking he TKOs him because that's usually how they get finished. And it's not even like a derogatory, like I'm not even meaning to sound that way. It's just as a betting man, you don't bet on two things: Indonesia and India. Just right now, there's still a work in progress in MMA, and you can't. You literally cannot trust them to win a fight. And honestly, like if they're facing their own, or they're like, I have a teammate who also I think has I don't know if she lived there, but she has a Indian descent. It's one of those things. It's like
But you don't have to feel the way about it. It's I see what you're saying. It's similar in the way that women's MMA took a long time to come along.
Yeah.
With women's MMA, it was people thought it was derogatory, but it's like there's not enough people sharpening steel in rooms. It's not developed enough yet. It's not there yet. So when the market's not there yet, it's not derogatory. You're pointing out the avenue. There's not going to be too many guys come out of certain markets where they're going to be great. Yeah,
that's what I mean. And Anshul Jubilee was supposed to be their guy, and that was one of the funniest moments of the year last year for me. So honestly, I can't get behind. I'm not going to say to play Nathan Kelly at negative 800, but I like to bring 3 spots, and one of them's a lock. It's going to be Nathan Kelly. He's going to just
so use him as put together a parlay.
Add him to a parlay. There's I can even give you 2 other legs, but we're not doing a game, so it's more so for fun. And if I could give 2 other legs for this card, I don't know if I'm playing this personally. Like I said, this is a little bit like.
But people do look for Bellator for parlays and they look for pieces. So you're giving them a spread.
Cook one up, man, for
sure.
So if I could cook one up on the right here on the fly, it'd be Nathan Kelly, negative 800, negative 1,000. I would have to put Corey Anderson. See, this one's a funky fight because Anderson's a better fighter, but more is an ape. And apes is a term that I use as ones that don't have a lot of skill, but they have a lot of heart, and they're going to come to swing big shots. And Anderson's chin's never a trustable thing, but he's so much better than and I haven't seen him get chinned in Bellator yet, I don't think. So I'm going to take a chance here and add him to the parlay at Shock. And then the third leg.
So high level, man.
Yeah, it's not even. And if Jocko can take you down on repeat, imagine what Corey Anderson can do. And then
like 10 plus takedowns, but I mean he'll get control time. He's not going to get back up, so he wouldn't even get 10 plus to be less than that.
I just see a TKO finish for Corey. It's not
from the top position.
And then I was debating adding Nate Kelly in this because Nate Kelly is really, really good for an amateur, of course. But it's just, I don't want to take a shot on Ireland's another, developing MMA scene, not the greatest. And I can't take a huge gamble at Shock for that. That's just, irresponsible on my part.
You don't even have to necessarily build a parlay. It's more, even if
I have
pieces. Oh, you got one? Okay, go ahead.
I have a third leg. He's actually right above. I'm just looking at the topology right now. Alfie Davis is my third leg.
Got it.
I like Owensworth. I do think Owensworth is a good fighter, and he could potentially get a robbery win or even a split win, close fight. But the thing is, Alfie Davis is levels above him, and he does everything he does better. And that's what, like, winning decisions, outpointing his opponent. Alfie Davis is just a better fighter, and maybe Owensworth will, how old is he? Let me see how old this guy is. See, if Owensworth, I think he's young. Yeah, it doesn't ever say their name, how old they are. But you think he's in his 20s or something. If he's, he's going to improve. Just now is not the time where he's going to beat someone like Davis. He's just, he's too technically sound. He's too experienced. He's seen it all. I don't see Owensworth beating him. So I'm going to go Davis.
And when you put that in your book, what's that lines in that?
So you can probably get that. Depends where you look, because Bet365 does a boost, but honestly, it still might be chalk, if not at negative 200, if not closer to negative 150, probably. But if I can add another leg, but it's risky and I don't like the chalk at all, is CR and Clark. If you want to just get that plus money, but I just don't like he should win, but his chin's also a liability, so I can't just put these people in parlays at chalk when they don't deserve to.
I get it. And I don't like doing more than like a 4-legger, even on a Bellator one. I'm usually a 2-legger guy, but on a Bellator one, I don't like to do more than 4. But a lot of people like these 6 to 8 leggers on Bellator. They like to hit almost the full card. So you even throwing up a bunch of different ideas is value to them.
Yeah, this week is it's hard to make big parlays this week. It's like a lot of 50-50 fights, a lot of chalk that doesn't deserve to be chalk. It's like, it is what it is. But I'm not saying bet the other side, because honestly, negative 500 is probably where I'd cap Steon Clark. But You know what I mean? Like, it's just I wouldn't take a chance here. I would just pass on it altogether. That's just advice from me. It's just that you have to understand when is the time to take risks. And seeing after getting almost chin in every one of his fights, I can't take a chance. It's just he should win, but I have 3 guys that I think will win and I'm more confident. But
and then as we look at the Bellator card quickly, and I'll let you jump in with another spot if you want to stay on the card. But we look at Aaron Jeffrey, as I talked about. You said the line inflated. Pinnacle right now plus 150. That's my dog now, officially my dog across the board is my dog of the week. At plus 150 right now at Pinnacle, all day long. At least that's what the fight odds is saying right now. Aaron Jeffrey against Fabian Edwards. If you want to just highlight that one quickly and sort of how you see that. I sort of touched on it, but everybody knows how I feel. I know he's a teammate. I know there's a bias, but what do you think about this stylistic matchup and the pressure of Aaron against Fabian Edwards?
So this is a funky fight because I want to just say Aaron breaks him down. Simple as that. It's going to be easy. But the problem is Fabian Edwards is really good. I still think Aaron wins because his pace is ridiculous. His striking's underrated. And Fabian gassed with he did work. He did, a lot of output to Johnny Eblin in the first round, but AJ just he stays within himself. He doesn't he's hard to deal with. And he's just gotten better and better. And it's a fight that I don't want to say bet your house or anything or bet a lot of money. But when things start looking south and it's round 2 for Fabian, that's the time when you need to see the lines and go. Because I have obviously something on him previous. You got to ride with your guy. Mm-hmm. But man, it's a pre-fight bet. You got to be very, very I wouldn't even really touch this pre. If you are very, very light, like a unit max, I wouldn't go crazy on this fight. I love AJ. I think he wins, but it's just a fight where it's I would take AJ pre, but I just wouldn't go big. And
yeah,
I might have already.
I went 1 unit. I went nice and simple on it, but the idea that it's at plus 150 might change some things for me. But I think the one thing that you pointed out there is there's 2 guys that have really beaten him in the past little while, and I'm talking about AJ. 2 guys that have sort of played it safe. Borjaio, who did touch him up a little bit, but ran away from him for the most part to stay away from his pressure and touched him up while he could, and then played it safe for the most part in that fight, and still ended up squeaking out a decision. It is what it is. And then obviously John Salter backpacked him for 3 rounds, and that's something that an anomaly situation. But that's not what we're going to see from Edwards. And I think Edwards will engage, and when he does engage in those moments, in those firefights close on the cage or wherever it is, I just think that that's where what you were saying, the pressure and the pace of AJ will take over at moments. But I fully see it. It is a hard one to call. Edwards. Obviously coming from a solid camp, and Edwards, obviously his brother, a big deal, but we don't want to talk about his brother. He's done some amazing things in the Bellator cage. So a great fight. The other one I wanted you to talk about quickly, maybe it's a spot for you. It's a play for me as well too. And a little bit of a fade of Patricio. Patricio. As I'll have to chop that up. Jeremy Kennedy, I'm going to go with Canadian again. Right now you can get him minus 115 roughly. I see where that point is. I like to look for money line plays, and usually when I see an advantage for the Canadian, I just think he's a savage, and I think he's going to go in there and style, but not necessarily a suggested play to anybody, but I just wanted to talk about the fight because he's a Canadian fighter.
Yeah, so this fight, I like Patricio, honestly, and I like Kennedy too. It's just there's levels, and Kennedy hasn't proven to me quite yet that he's at this level, because Pico was touching him up before the injury, and I'm not saying Pico's bad or anything. Pico's ridiculously good, but he's shown weakness against, Pico hasn't faced really top level guys yet, and when he does, he's lost. And I'm just saying, Pico's still a work in progress, and Patricio is one of the best fighters in the world. And Patricio, the question to me is he still in his prime? If he is, this is a Patricio fight. If he isn't, and we'll tell in this next fight, then it's going to be a Kennedy decision win. But
well said.
I honestly, with this fight, you really, really want to either, I don't take money line. It's I would say Kennedy decision, Patricio submission, just because Kennedy's going to be shooting a lot. Kennedy's going to be shooting a lot, and yeah, it's just there's a lot of room for opportunity in this fight prop wise. So I would look for props, live betting. Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward fight for me.
Definition of a homer bet for me then, if that would be the case. But live betting with Bellator is a difficult one. I don't know what books are really doing that too much, but I mean, I know DraftKings has been pretty good with leaving those UFC lines wide open too, which has been great. So Curtis Blades live, bam, right before the line inflated. DK just left those lines wide open. So, but yeah, okay. I just wanted to get your insight on that one, and I think I'm sort of I'm fading Patricio because I'm sort of leaning to the idea that he may be on his last legs. But I've always said in the past, that's nothing to bet on. You don't bet on what you think and your perception of what somebody is. They got to show it to you. This is a level check fight. You're 100% right. And that's why I defer to you and have you sort of dissect what I say. So, okay, next spot, if you wanted to bring any more spots to the table.
Nothing off this card because, frankly, I have not a lot to say with this card.
BKFC, you've been crushing it with that. I meant to ask you about that. If they're
that's Bulgaria.
Crushing it with the BKFC.
I have Bulgaria honestly with this card, I wouldn't even really feel comfortable giving my full 2 cents on because there's like two fights that I'm pretty confident in, and even then it's BKFC and it's Bulgaria. Like, I'm taking a bit of a shot in the dark here. But yeah, I would probably move towards if I was gonna. Yeah, I'm trying to think here. Which one would be better? Yeah, because okay.
You can even throw out a UFC.
Yeah, I would do a parlay with Unified. This one's fun. I mean, the line is off, in my opinion, in the main event too, but I feel like this one's just more meat and potatoes. And I got to go with John Nguyen at -2 something, 250. I got him at pretty good value, but it is what it is. I can't tell people to bet that straight. Even though he did beat him before, it's anything could happen at the fight. So I'm gonna go John Nguyen and Zachary Powell in a parlay. That would probably he's like -600, so that would get you. You're probably gonna look to hurry for this one because you can only bet it on BetOnline AG. But honestly, I would still recommend taking a shot on this because Powell should win this easily. This is a pretty good fight for him. I'm really excited for this fight for him. He's gonna show out, and yeah.
This is where I wish you could get props.
I would, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I would definitely.
Fight,
the thing with the small shows is people have made millions of dollars off of, them not understanding how to prop these small events. So when that happens, and people have. Yeah, that's what happened. They stopped doing it. The same with bare knuckle. They used to do props, now they don't because people made too much money. So it's one of those things. They're always going to be working against us in this game, and we got to work together to try to beat the system.
So we had 2-piece parlay, and definitely a unified card. I love that. This is one of those ones where people may not know enough about, and if you do have the books that have this card, it's just one of those ones where people might not know anything at all about. And now you have a little bit of an insight. Powell, very very strong wrestler, power in his hands, marches forward with pressure. Love his fighting style, and then on top of that, so wait, do you have the 2-piece parlay? What does that come out to total?
It's probably around like -150-ish, 130 probably.
Okay. And then I know that you have your show, and that's one thing that I think that people need to start tuning into is, and I know that you've started to amass a following. The Bellator shows, like these are the ones that people really look for. They look for the Oktagon. They look for these extra sniffs, and because those ones cash. Whenever you hear somebody talking about it, usually it's because they put the work in, and there's a little bit more of a binary situation on the regional scene and or the smaller promotions versus UFC. UFC's fun to bet on. The other ones are more strategic. if anything, from what I've seen from you anyway. So it's
Yeah.
been great to watch you and let people know where they can find you. You know, I know you have your YouTube channel and everything else. So how about it?
It's just what you see on the screen. Dissecton of Violence. You can find me anywhere really now. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I don't use it, but it's on there. I'm really just trying to get around and get my name out there. This is what I do. I love it, and yeah, I just love being a nerd in combat sports. It's so fun, and yeah.
So you've been given a sharp money line from Oktagon. You've been given a Bellator parlay. We got a dog. Once again, manage your money on this. These are outside of big plays. These are, you know, even if you have dogs regionally or Bellator plays, you don't want to go too crazy. And then on top of that, you have a unified parlay as well too, which is probably more of a lockier parlay, probably one of your lockier parlays of the week.
Yeah, I'd say so. More confidence.
No, it's pretty chalk. So if it's chalk, then
yeah, it doesn't always mean. I don't always associate chalk with because there's times when they screw up and they've made people way too big of chalk when they should be maybe a slight favorite. So it's one of those things. I just know which. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I've screwed up before, and that's why I'm saying this so strongly. It's like you really have to be careful who you put trust in at chalk. Like Kennedy Nishiku for a perfect example. So just be careful out there. It gets real. Like he shouldn't. I said it before the fight. Should he, even if it's a dead body walking in the octagon, should he ever be -600 against him? Nothing against Kennedy. I mean, well,
he's been exposed before though, so you're right.
Yeah, so it's like I can't trust his chin needs to be studied. He's been knocked out through the guard. I've never seen that before in my life. The guy is a great guy and all, but it's just not that good. I mean, he showed flashes of brilliance, but in 2024 he should be destroying OSP, and he just looked like a shell of himself, and it was rough.
And that was the problem with everybody being so hard on the fade. I stayed off it all the way together with every.
I did relatively.
Personally, first round sprinkle, I did Kennedy just for the fact, but it was nothing I talked about, nothing I did. There was nothing else, like, because the reality of the fact is just you want to fade OSP so hard, you start vividly seeing him getting knocked out in the first round because he's not durable. And then you forget that there's a fraud check on Kennedy as well too. So yeah, sharp stay off for any who did. Those who parlayed him at that number, not a wise move.
It was rough. I know a lot of friends who did. They were not.
Yeah, just because you see the big chalk and you just add it as a base to your parlay, it's not a good way to go.
He was legitimate. Well, I was confident too, but I just, it is what it is.
Fair enough. All right, brother. Anything else that you wanted to add before we get out of here?
Not too much. Just Fury FC. It's a good card this week. LFA also. I crush usually LFA Brazil. So join up the Discord. It's free. I talk about things. I don't give out plays really anymore. Maybe like a few for free, but like other than the free play of the week, you guys gotta join up. The VIPs are eating. And yeah, just let me know.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, like Dissection of Violence, he's put out free plays for a very long time. His Discord's been free for a very long time. So it's not that he's going to go out and try to sell you on packages and everything else, but the idea is you're going to still be invited into the group, be able to go in and still probably get a bunch of solid plays. But then if you want to get some of the, for sure things or some of the more lockier things or things that are cashing at a high rate, you got to pay. You got to pay to play. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's just a business thing now.
Dude, you put in work. It's time. It's time equity. That's it. Plain and simple. All right, brother. You have yourself a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy all the cards. And for the Couch versus the Coach special edition, Dissection of Violence, I'm Cal McGregor. Tune into the Don't Tap podcast.